Step back in time to uncover the heartbreaking fates of the main cast of All in the Family, 1971 to 1979, where the glitz of television couldn't mask the hidden tragedies of real life. While these actors left an unforgettable mark with their iconic performances and legendary characters, behind the scenes, many faced devastating struggles, unexpected losses, and silent battles far from the public eye. Join us as we pull back the curtain on their untold stories, honoring the remarkable talents who brought this groundbreaking show to life. This is more than just a retrospective. It's a tribute to the enduring legacy they left behind, both on screen and in the hearts of fans forever. Carroll O'Connor, born on August 2, 1924, in the Bronx, New York, became a household name for his portrayal of the gruff, opinionated, and often misguided Archie Bunker in All in the Family, 1971 to 1979. His impeccable comedic timing and ability to blend humor with social commentary made Archie one of television's most unforgettable characters. However, behind the laughter and success, O'Connor carried a burden of personal sorrow that haunted him for years. His son, Hugh O'Connor, struggled with severe drug addiction, a battle that tore the family apart. Despite O'Connor's relentless efforts to save him, Hugh tragically took his own life in 1995 at just 33 years old. The loss was a devastating blow from which O'Connor never truly recovered. Grief-stricken, he spent the remainder of his life advocating against drug abuse and holding drug dealers accountable, even successfully pushing for anti-drug legislation. His long marriage to Nancy Fields O'Connor, which lasted over 50 years, was filled with both love and deep sorrow. In his final years, diabetes took its toll on his health, leading to heart complications. On June 21, 2001, he passed away at 76 in Culver City, California. The man who had made the world laugh for decades spent his final years in mourning, proving that even the brightest stars in Hollywood can be consumed by an unimaginable darkness. Vincent Gardenia was born in 1920, a gifted character actor whose presence on screen was as undeniable as the tragic loneliness that haunted his final days. He portrayed Frank Lorenzo, the amiable neighbor with an old-world charm, as well as Curtis Rempley and other roles throughout All in the Family. His talent extended to unforgettable performances in Moonstruck, 1987, and Death Wish, 1974, where he played characters whose struggles eerily mirrored his own. Despite the accolades and respect he commanded, Gardenia's personal life was shrouded in solitude, never marrying, never having children. The stage and screen became his only true family, but even they could not shield him from the inevitable. In 1992, during a lonely night in a Philadelphia hotel room, he succumbed to a heart attack. No loved one was there to hold his hand in his final moments. Only the cold emptiness of a transient room, a cruel ending for a man who had filled the world with so much life. Mike Evans, born on November 3, 1949, in Salisbury, North Carolina, rose to fame as Lionel Jefferson, the sharp-witted and ambitious son of George and Louise Jefferson in All in the Family, 1971 to 1979. Unlike his hot-tempered father, Lionel was open-minded and willing to challenge Archie Bunker's outdated views with intelligence and humor. His talent extended beyond acting. Evans was also a gifted writer, co-creating the hit sitcom Good Times, 1974 to 1979, a groundbreaking show that depicted the struggles of a working-class black family. However, despite his success, Evans' life was marked by heartbreak and struggle. He married Helena Jefferson, but little is publicly known about their personal life, as Evans was intensely private. In his later years, he withdrew from Hollywood and lived a life away from the spotlight. Sadly, he was diagnosed with throat cancer, an illness that gradually robbed him of his voice, the very tool that had once made him famous. On December 14, 2006, he passed away at the age of 57 in 29 Palms, California. His death came quietly, far from the glitz of Hollywood, leaving behind a legacy that was often overlooked. The man who had given life to one of television's most groundbreaking characters faded into history, his contributions to entertainment underappreciated in his final years. Billy Halop was born in 1920, a child star whose golden years faded into a shadowed existence marked by hardship and loss. He portrayed Bert Munson, the gruff but well-meaning cab driver in All in the Family, a role that barely hinted at the depths of his real-life struggles. Once the leader of the Dead End Kids, Halop was a bright young star in Angels with Dirty Faces, 1938, and They Made Me a Criminal, 1939, but fame proved a fleeting companion. His personal life unraveled through failed marriages, financial ruin, and a battle with alcoholism that ravaged his career and body. The once beloved actor found himself working as a nurse's aide, a tragic fall from Hollywood's heights. By the time he passed away from a heart attack in 1976, the industry had all but forgotten him. He left behind no children, no grand legacy, just the remnants of a career that once held so much promise, now buried beneath the weight of time and regret. Sorell Booke was born in 1930, a man whose immense talent for portraying larger-than-life characters masked a personal life filled with sorrow and struggle. He played multiple roles in All in the Family, including Joseph Sanders and Mr. Bennett, but audiences best remember him as the corrupt yet oddly lovable Boss Hogg in The Dukes of Hazzard, 1979 to 1985. A Yale-educated man fluent in 5 languages, Booke was a scholar trapped in an industry that often typecast him as buffoonish villains. Behind the humor, his life was marked by deep loneliness. His marriage ended in divorce, and though he had children, his career often kept him at a distance from them. As health problems mounted in his later years, the once vibrant actor found himself slipping further from the limelight. In 1994, he lost his battle with colorectal cancer, passing away quietly, away from the boisterous energy he once brought to the screen. His final years were spent in declining health, the laughter he had once shared with the world replaced by the isolation of a life spent in the service of entertaining others while struggling to find joy for himself. Jean Stapleton, born as Jean Murray on January 19, 1923, in New York City, was a gifted actress who brought warmth and charm to the role of Edith Bunker, the loving and long-suffering wife of Archie. Her portrayal of Edith, a woman full of kindness, patience, and quiet wisdom, captivated audiences and cemented her place in television history. But away from the cameras, Stapleton was a deeply private and dedicated artist who prioritized her career over the social limelight. She was married to William Putch, a theater director, for over 25 years, and their love was built on a mutual passion for the performing arts. However, in 1983, tragedy struck when Putch suffered a fatal heart attack at the age of 60, leaving Stapleton utterly heartbroken. Though she continued acting in films and TV shows, including memorable appearances in Michael, 1996, and You've Got Mail, 1998, the loneliness of losing her life partner lingered. As the years passed, she slowly withdrew from Hollywood, choosing a quieter life away from the public eye. On May 31, 2013, she passed away peacefully at her home in New York City at the age of 90. Though her departure was gentle, it marked the end of an era. The voice of Edith Bunker, who had brought so much love and laughter to the world, was silenced forever. Mel Stewart was born in 1929, a man of immense talent whose legacy in Hollywood was often overshadowed by the hardships he endured. He portrayed Henry Jefferson, the sharp-witted and proud brother of George Jefferson in All in the Family, a role that highlighted both his comedic timing and dramatic depth. Stewart's career spanned television and film, including appearances in Scarecrow and Mrs. King and Trick Baby, 1972. Yet the respect he commanded on screen did not always translate to stability in his personal life. A gifted jazz musician as well as an actor, he struggled to find consistent success in an industry that offered few opportunities for Black performers. Though he married and had children, the weight of financial struggles and career disappointments strained his relationships. As the years passed, the offers dwindled and the spotlight dimmed. In 2002, Stewart succumbed to Alzheimer's disease, a cruel thief that slowly erased the memories of a man who had once brought so much life to the screen. In his final days, as the disease took its toll, the echoes of laughter he had once inspired were replaced by silence, a painful reminder of how quickly the world forgets even its brightest stars. Betty Garrett was born in 1919, a radiant talent who charmed audiences with her wit and warmth. She stepped into the role of Irene Lorenzo, the feisty, strong-willed feminist neighbor who often clashed with Archie Bunker's outdated views in All in the Family. Betty was no stranger to Hollywood's dazzling lights, having starred in films like On the Town, 1949, and My Sister Eileen, 1955. Yet, behind her ever-smiling presence, shadows loomed over her life. The Hollywood blacklist struck her husband, actor Larry Parks, in the 1950s, bringing their flourishing careers to a grinding halt. The stigma of those accusations haunted them for decades, forcing Betty to pivot to stage performances and later television just to make ends meet. Though she ultimately found success on TV, including a beloved role in Laverne and Shirley, the pain of those lost years never truly faded. Betty's personal life was devoted to her family, but it was marred by heartache and struggle, with her husband's career never fully recovering. In 2011, she was rushed to the hospital, her frail body unable to fight back after suffering an aortic aneurysm. Just like that, the world lost another Golden Age star, her light extinguished not by scandal or obscurity, but by the relentless passage of time. Alan Melvin, born on February 18, 1923, in Kansas City, Missouri, was a gifted character actor who brought life to the role of Barney Hefner, Archie Bunker's close friend and drinking buddy in All in the Family, 1971 to 1979, and its sequel, Archie Bunker's Place. Though often portrayed as a light-hearted and comedic figure, Melvin's own life was not without its struggles. He spent years working tirelessly in Hollywood, taking on roles in The Phil Silvers Show, The Brady Bunch, and Gomer Pyle, USMC, yet never quite achieved the stardom he truly deserved. Behind the scenes, his marriage to Amalia Faustina Sestero lasted for decades, but his work always came first, leaving little time for a deeply personal life. As the years went by, Melvin's health declined, and he quietly stepped away from the industry that had once embraced him. In his later years, he battled cancer, a cruel disease that slowly drained the energy from the man who had once made audiences laugh with his impeccable comedic timing. On January 17, 2008, at the age of 84, he passed away in Los Angeles. There were no grand tributes, no star-studded memorials, just the quiet fading of a man who had spent his entire life making others smile while quietly carrying his own burdens. Sherman Hemsley was born in 1938, a man whose comedic genius and boundless energy made George Jefferson one of television's most unforgettable characters. First appearing in All in the Family before leading the Jeffersons, Sherman crafted a character both hilarious and deeply complex, a self-made businessman with a fiery temper and an undeniable love for his family. But outside the spotlight, Sherman was an intensely private man, never marrying nor having children, and his loneliness became an unspoken burden. Despite his immense success, he lived modestly, avoiding the glitz and glamour that consumed so many of his peers. In his later years, legal battles over his estate and allegations of manipulation by close associates cast a dark cloud over his legacy. The world was stunned when news broke in 2012. Sherman had passed away alone at home in El Paso, Texas. The official cause was lung cancer, a silent enemy that had been ravaging his body in secret. Even in death, controversy followed him, as a legal dispute delayed his burial for months. In the end, the man who had brought so much laughter to millions left behind a tragic, lonely story, one of unfulfilled relationships, legal struggles, and a death that echoed in the void of an empty house. Isabel Sanford, born on August 29, 1917, in New York City, became television royalty as Louise Jefferson, the elegant yet tough matriarch first introduced in All in the Family before leading the Jeffersons, 1975 to 1985, to enormous success. But while audiences adored her as the loving wife of George Jefferson, Isabel's real-life story was far less glamorous. Raised by a strict, working-class mother, she fought hard to break free from poverty and an unfulfilling marriage. Though she had 3 children, her personal life was filled with turbulence. Her husband, William Edward Richmond, was largely absent, and their marriage eventually ended in divorce. Determined to make it on her own, she moved to California with her children, struggling to build her career while providing for her family. Despite winning an Emmy and receiving critical acclaim, Hollywood never truly gave her the recognition she deserved. In her later years, her health declined, and she suffered from a series of health complications, including hypertension and arterial disease. She was hospitalized multiple times before finally passing away on July 9, 2004, at the age of 86. Her funeral was small, far from the grand tributes one might expect for a television icon. She had spent decades portraying a woman who had moved on up, but in her final moments, she was left with only memories of a career that never quite gave her the rewards she had earned. Jason Wingreen, born on October 9, 1920, in Brooklyn, New York, was a familiar face on American television, best known as Harry Snowden, the dry-witted bartender and friend of Archie Bunker in All in the Family and later Archie Bunker's Place. But even beyond that role, Wingreen left a surprising mark on pop culture. His gravelly voice was used for the infamous bounty hunter Boba Fett in The Empire Strikes Back, 1980, a contribution that went uncredited for decades. Despite working steadily in Hollywood, appearing in countless classic TV shows such as The Twilight Zone, The Outer Limits, and Star Trek, he remained largely unrecognized by the general public. He never received the fame or accolades that many of his contemporaries enjoyed, spending most of his career in the shadows of bigger names. His personal life remained relatively private, but the loneliness of never being fully acknowledged weighed on him. In his final years, he watched as younger generations celebrated Boba Fett, yet his role in bringing the character to life was nearly forgotten. On December 25, 2015, at the age of 95, he passed away in Los Angeles. It was Christmas Day, a time meant for joy and family. Yet Wingreen's departure from the world was quiet and unnoticed by most. He had given so much to Hollywood, and yet, when he was gone, it felt as though he had simply vanished, like a ghost in the background of the industry he had dedicated his life to. Danny Dayton was born in 1923, a character actor who spent his career playing the kind of faces you recognized but couldn't always name. As Hank Pivnik on All in the Family, he was the loudmouth bar buddy, a fixture in Archie Bunker's world, but never quite the center of attention. That was the story of Danny's life. Always in the background, always supporting, never the star. He had roles in Damn Yankees, 1958, and Guys and Dolls, 1955, but Hollywood never truly embraced him as a leading man. His marriage to actress Arlene Dayton seemed steady on the surface, but as work slowed, so did their happiness. The world moved on, and Danny was left behind, scraping for roles that never came. As his health declined, he faced a battle with emphysema, a disease that stole his breath and, eventually, his life in 1999. In his final days, the laughter and clinking glasses of Archie's barroom pals were long gone, replaced by the sterile hum of hospital machines. The man who had spent a lifetime playing sidekicks took his final bow in the shadows, leaving behind a legacy few remembered until it was too late. Bob Hastings was born in 1925, a man whose voice carried more fame than his face. As Kelsey, the bar owner on All in the Family, he served up drinks and quips in equal measure, a minor role in the grand scheme of television history. But it was in animation where he truly found his mark, lending his unmistakable voice to Commissioner Gordon in Batman, the animated series, a role beloved by fans who never even knew the face behind it. A family man on the surface, Bob's career kept him away from home, leaving gaps that love couldn't always fill. His later years were marred by illness, the energy that had once fueled his career slowly draining from him. When cancer came, it was relentless, an enemy that even Gotham's commissioner couldn't fight. In 2014, he passed away, the rich timbre of his voice silenced forever. His name never graced marquees, his face never became iconic, but his presence lingered in the background of countless childhoods. When the credits rolled, he was gone, leaving only echoes of a voice that once brought heroes to life. Sally Struthers, born July 28, 1947, in Portland, Oregon, became a household name with her portrayal of Gloria Bunker-Stivic on All in the Family, 1971 to 1979. Her comedic timing and heartfelt performances endeared her to millions. Yet, behind the laughter lay personal struggles. Her father, Robert Struthers, left the family when Sally was just 7, plunging her mother, Margaret, into a deep depression. This early upheaval shaped Sally's resilience and drive. In 1977, she married psychiatrist William C. Rader, and they welcomed a daughter, Samantha. However, the marriage unraveled, leading to a divorce in 1983. Professionally, Sally faced challenges too. She once spent $40,000 attempting to break free from her all-in-the-family contract, feeling sidelined and underappreciated. In her later years, Sally continued to act, but her past experiences left indelible marks on her spirit. What do you think about the deaths of the actors from All in the Family, 1971 to 1979? And who do you remember the most? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to watch the latest videos.